Hi everyone, Julie here, your Mind Body Wellness Guide. This weekend, I was working on the hall. I needed to patch some holes and some damage where some pictures had been hanging and then prime it all. And so I spent 4 days working on that. And needless to say, my shoulders and my wrists were not so happy about that. So here are some things that I did to keep looking after those parts, not just ignore them, so that I could continue to get through the job without significant pain, which I have experienced in the past when trying to do these things. And I thought this would be helpful for you too. So here I am sharing what I did every evening before bed after working on this project. So taking the shoulders and sliding them up towards the ears, and then mindfully allowing them to release. I know it sounds super simple, but what we're doing is recreating on purpose the contraction that was happening when I was doing this work, and it wasn't on purpose when I was doing the work. All right, slowly melt that out. And feel how we're not pulling or stretching on the muscles. We're just allowing them to release. So that was one. I did it a few times. We're just going to repeat a couple of times. And then I took my arms and I rolled them in towards my body, let my back get long, let my chest sink. And this is another shape that was sometimes happening as I was leaning forward, peering closely at my work. And now I'm going to intentionally rotate those arms away so they're out of that contraction, sitting up tall, releasing that shortness of the chest. Let's all take a nice deep breath in here because we've created some space for breathing. And then here's another thing that I did because I could really feel it in my wrists and also in my hands, holding the paintbrush, holding the tray, all of those things. So I took my palms together and let the elbows come out to the side and then rotated so the fingers went away and down and then came up and in. So I'm getting rotation into my wrists. Did that a few times. And then I changed the shape of my hands. So I actually made a heart shape. So the fingernails came together and then the thumb tips. See my heart? And I just let my fingers be in that shape, not super tight, just kind of nice and loose. Shoulders are down, chest is open. Take a breath. Letting go of any tension in the shoulders or chest or neck. And then I started to play. So letting the backs of those fingers and hands come towards each other and then extend and then come back again and just playing. Sometimes this stuff is just all about exploration. What feels good? What's this doing for me? And then taking those arms, so the backs of the hands are together, just a loose fist with the hands and doing some circles of the wrists. Oh, that felt particularly good for me because it's the wrists, but also the hands and the forearms. Let's go the other way. As someone who works with her hands when I am seeing clients one-to-one in person, it's really important that I maintain this ability to move without pain. And then the other thing I did was to just touch my fingertips towards my thumb. So it's not quite a fist. And then slowly release them. Because when I was holding the paintbrush and the paint cans and even the sanding block, my hands were in that position. So now I am on purpose creating that and then letting it go so that my hands aren't staying in that cramped shape. And like I said, this can be helpful for not just doing drywall repairs, but anything that you're spending a lot of time with, using your hands like this. So for me, I used to do a lot of pedicures, and so this kind of movement was important. If you knit or crochet, or you're maybe a painter, sometimes my daughter does some fine work with engraving sometimes, so you're holding that tool. It could even be writing, writing with an actual pen. All right, so I'm going to do one more. And you can see that you can spend a lot of time with this, or you can spend a little time, depends on what you've got. I spent between 5 and 10 minutes every night, depending on how my body was feeling, and I lingered in some things more than others. Right? Now I'm going to take those arms nice and wide and lower them down. Resting the hands and just noticing how my body feels now. All those joints, fingers, and if there's more of a sense of release and spaciousness, which there is for me, and I hope there is for you too. Take care.